Hey, Tevin here, and this is my aloe vera planter mod whatnot. So, main point here we're going to go through is that this planter does not have any proper drainage holes. I couldn't find a sufficient one in the right price range that did. So I figured, what the hell? I love to mod things. Let's give her a go, right? So what we'll be doing is cutting some holes into the bottom of it here, and then we're going to bend them and seal them around so the water don't leak through. Further explained throughout the video. And then we also have to add in some rocks, some kind of substrate, and then fill it with some soil, plant the plants, and also while we're at it, get this green LED strip in here, on there, sealed on properly and waterproof. Since it's supposed to be waterproof, but it looks like it used some really cheap two-sided tape on the back side. So I just kind of peeled that off, and we're going to be hot gluing that or something because the two-sided was supposed to seal off the contactors on the back to make it waterproof, and it did not, so it was not waterproof. So nonetheless, we'll figure this all out, and hopefully it looks good in the end, and here we go.
Okay, so what we're doing is we've got an X-Acto knife and we're very carefully cutting out these holes, and then using the heat gun while bending it, get them to stay bent inward like that. And then we also got this LED strip. So our goal is that we're going to get these bent in like this, and then what we're going to do is we're going to run some glue down the sides of them, in probably epoxy so it stays on there more secure, and just kind of do like a little bump of glue down the sides and around the bottom. And then hopefully what should happen is if any water is running down, it should run down off it and around the sides instead of coming out of the holes and then collecting the bottom. And then we'll have this in there as well as some rocks, and then hopefully the idea will be that any extra water that comes out through the bottom of the soil will collect in the bottom and then evaporate out the holes in the sides. The other thing we're doing is only filling the soil line up to, say, there or something like that, so it gives a little bit of area between the soil and the top. Have the LED strip, and then also only filling up a certain amount of soil before it's rocks and the bottom piece, so that way it's still shallow enough for the succulents. Alright, so now we're done cutting all the holes and bending them in the bottom. So I got 5 of them there. That's what they look like from the outside. So aside from the first one I messed up on a little bit, which is going to be the back side of it anyways, it all seemed to look pretty decent. It was alright. Found made a big difference using just an X-Acto knife and being very careful instead of having to use a Dremel, which I originally planned to. So Dremels are great, but I guess, not always a tool for everything. So okay, so as you can see, what we did is we carefully went around it with the hot glue gun, as I decided that it was a lot easier to apply it as we needed than using epoxy. So that's what we did here, just went around it with the hot glue gun. What that's hopefully going to have done, going around it with the hot glue gun like that, is to prevent any water from just draining and seeping outside of the hole, so it should hopefully flow around them down to the bottom. And then obviously we want to avoid overfilling it, that it doesn't fill up enough to flow out either. So here you can see we drilled a quick little hole so I can feed the wires through the back, and we'll have to figure out some kind of switch and whatever we're going to deal with for powering that. Haven't figured that out yet, but there we go. And then we're just going to add some hot glue, seal things off, watertight, and then go around it, tape it down, and yeah, there we go. That covers the LED part so far.
Okay, so here we are now testing out the lighting after we laid down the first initial layer of hot glue on there, just to see how it looks and where we need to go from here. Then what we decided is we got to take the soldering iron and use that to flatten out the hot glue around the sides here, and we're going to try to trim it with an X-Acto knife, some more flattening, and see what we can do to do our best to try to clean this up a bit.
Okay, so it didn't turn out as nice as I wanted, but it at least turned out better than I expected. As you can see, there we go, from the angle. So I at least got the one main side kind of more flattened, but then the top and bottom is kind of messy and not overly ideal, but it's better than it was. So, yep. Now we're going to test to see what the lighting's like, and then test if we need to try etching it and if that works. Okay, so here we are nearly done with the LED strip. Although unfortunately I don't like it when you can see all the little individual LED lights, so it would be nice to try to diffuse this. So I'm going to see what I can do. I tested out with a stick of glue, sanding it with 400 grit, and it seemed to work okay. So we're going to give it a try and smoothly go around the sides with this with the 400 grit sandpaper and see what it looks like done. Okay, so we tested the diffusing and it did not work well enough to make enough of a difference. So now we tried cutting off the light around the sides with some black electrical tape just to test, see how that looks or works, and gives us kind of just a green ring with the light going upwards. So I don't know, I think that kind of looks cool, but I guess still kind of playing with it and figuring out what the hell to do here.
So here's the final results with the lights on, and then it'll be with the lights off. And what we concluded to do was just take some green UV paint and spray painted the strip with the rest of it taped off, and it turned out not too bad. It was at least better than what it was. So I hope you enjoy, and I enjoy it at least. So I thought it turned out pretty nice from the end. Obviously, if you've ever taken photos of things with LED lights, you know how hard that is. So keep in mind that in real life, this looks a lot better than it does in video and photos. So. But nonetheless, the strip did turn out kind of sloppy, but oh well, it kind of goes with the whole earthy thing, and it's all right. And as for the connection in the back, we just used a fan header for like computer type, and we already have like other adapters and things set up for connecting that to that we can use. So, yep, that about concludes it. You know what to do. Links in the description below, and thank you very much for watching. Have a very happy day.